Hi, my name is Abby Williams, and welcome to Magic in the Moment, where I reflect on what I notice and observe. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I ask that you rate the podcast if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Today, I'm reflecting on how you can completely change your life. But before we get started, I want you to take a moment to pause, and let's take a deep breath together. Inhale through your nose, and just sigh it out the mouth. And now I want you to take a look around wherever you are and just notice every single color that's surrounding you. Any color that you can be aware of, just notice. Right now, I can see navy, blue, a grayish blue, browns, pink, purple, turquoise, cream. Okay, you can release that exercise. Thank you so much for joining me in a little bit of present mindfulness. That's what this podcast is all about, is encouraging you to be more present and mindful in this moment, because that is where the magic happens, people. That is what we are here for, and that is what I am constantly working on, is how can I be so completely present that I cherish this life with every fiber of my being. So, you want to change your life, I suppose. That's why you clicked on this episode. And I feel I have some say in how to do this, because in the past 5 years, I have completely changed my life 4 times. When I was 19, I moved away from home, about an hour and a half from home, and I lived in my very first apartment all by myself. I had a new job at a coffee shop. I broke up with my high school boyfriend, and I lived a completely new life than I had ever lived before. Then, when I was almost 21, I moved to Utah. I moved in with my mom. I had no friends, no job, and found a completely new way of living. If you want to hear a more detailed version of what it's like for me to start over, you can listen to my very first episode of the podcast titled Starting Over. But in this episode, I want to cover how I made these changes. So after I lived in Utah, I moved to New York City when I was 23, completely restarted my life. And then just a couple of months ago, I left New York City and moved back to Arkansas in with some of my family and started a completely new life again. So how have I been able to do this? Because this is a very hard thing to do. It's scary, it's intimidating, and it is challenging, let me tell you. I would say if you are in need of some serious change in your life, the best way to do that is to move. Regardless of for how long it is, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, any amount of time where you are immersing yourself into an entirely new place where you're meeting different people, have a different job, and are beholding new things, that is going to change you. But I understand that not everybody is looking to completely uproot their life, because that's not always necessary. So I encourage you to listen to this advice in terms of even something small in your life. If you're looking to change your diet or to quit a bad habit, I'm currently quitting nicotine right now. And so these tips apply to something like that as well. Or if you're looking to change your job or break up with your partner or start a new relationship with somebody else, any big kind of change, actually even little things, waking up earlier, drinking more water, going for walks, getting outside, any habit that is going to change your life And let me just say that little habits do change your life, even if it's just one, right? I'm quitting nicotine, and that is a small habit that is changing my life in so many ways already. The first step in changing your life completely is a mindset shift, okay? Once you realize that your life is not happening to you, but that you are choosing your life, it is much clearer what step you need to take. It's really easy to fall into the habit of victimizing yourself, saying, oh, I can't believe that my life is this way, that these things are happening to me, because truly, you are choosing what you let into your life. Something that I pride myself in is taking accountability for everything that I do. Anything that I experience, anything that I feel, that is my responsibility. And so if I don't like what I'm experiencing, I have to step into my power to change that. I was actually just talking to my dad on the phone about this yesterday, and hearing him talk about how he is stepping into this power is so wonderful to hear, because it's also reminding me that I have that choice. I can step into my power and make real, tangible changes in my life once I decide that life is no longer happening to me, but that I am choosing to participate with life, right? So when I was living in my first apartment, I was getting really paranoid and really stressed and frustrated with my living situation, and I felt trapped and like I couldn't get out. And it just dawned on me one night as I was sitting on my couch that I could leave. Oftentimes we feel so stuck where we are, but the truth is, we're never really stuck. The only thing we can become stuck in is our ideas of what we should be doing and the expectations we have for ourselves. But I'm telling you right now, you have the power to change anything in your life that isn't serving you anymore or that you need to move away from. Okay, the second step in completely changing your life is ask for help. I know this isn't easy, and I know not everybody has this ability. I have been privileged and honored enough to always have people in my life who can help me. And this could be something as simple as asking for accountability from someone in your life to help you get up earlier in the morning, right? If you ask this person, hey, will you please text me in the morning and don't stop texting me until I text you back? That is asking for help, right? We always think that we have to do everything by ourselves, or it doesn't count, or it doesn't matter, and that is just not true. We don't really do much in our lives by ourselves, and it's pride that keeps us in the mindset that that's what makes us more valuable. But the thing is that humans were made for community. Humans were made to help each other. And the people in your life honestly want to help you. I know I want to help the people in my life. And so asking them for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a bigger sign of strength that you are willing to go to do whatever it takes to actually make the changes that you want to make. When I moved to New York, I didn't have money to pay rent. And I had to ask my brother for some money. And I also had to ask my manager at my brand new job if she would lend me some money. And she did. Like, you will be so surprised how willing people are to help you if you are willing to take the help. Okay? Just imagine all of the pain and suffering Walter White would have avoided if he would have just taken help. Instead, he was stuck in his pride and would literally rather sell crystal meth. So you don't want to be like that. Also, if you don't watch Breaking Bad, go watch Breaking Bad so that you can understand the reference I just made. Incredible show. Literally my favorite show of all time. But seriously, a prime example of look at how weak it actually makes us to not ask for help. We are stronger as a collective. And it is the United States of America that has made us think that we are better off as individuals when we are not. Period. Okay, next step in completely changing your life is trust in change. Another way we get stuck in our mentality is we think, no matter what I do, I will never get out of this feeling. No matter what I do, I will always feel this way. So what is the point? Well, I'm telling you right now that that's a big fat lie that your mind tells you, because it is physically impossible to do something different and not get different results. Everything produces a different outcome. And so if you begin to take a different kind of action than you usually do, you will feel different. It is the nature of things. Trust in the nature of things, that if you make a different choice, you will get a different outcome. Okay, trust that things will be different when you change. You will not feel like this forever. The next step in completely changing your life is embrace the mess. Okay? Changing is messy. And a lot of challenges that you don't foresee present themselves, and in the moment you have to find solutions. And usually there's solutions that you might not be completely content with. Okay? When I moved from Arkansas to Utah, I mailed one box full of things to Utah, and then I put the rest of my stuff in a storage unit because I didn't know what to do with it. Actually, when I moved to Utah, I wasn't even sure that I was actually moving to Utah. I just thought I was going to figure things out. Okay? And that was one of the reasons why I put my things in a storage unit, was because, I could come back to Arkansas, or I could move somewhere else. And so logistically, it made no sense to go ahead and mail all of my stuff or drive all of my stuff to Utah. But that also meant that 6 months later, when I did decide to move to Utah, I had to come back to Arkansas and I had to sort through the mess that I had left. And it was really hard. And that situation is another good example of asking for help, because I asked one of my best friends to come and help me, and he did. And I don't think I could have done it without him. And he took a couple of my things. He helped physically a little bit to get through some of the stuff, but it was mostly just him being there. Sometimes all we need is somebody to be there for us, to just know that their presence is supporting our presence. It is amazing what the support of someone else will do for you. And also, the very little compassion we usually give ourselves is much easier to see when someone else comes into the picture. Because if you tell someone else, I'm such a mess, nothing is together, I'm such a wreck, they usually say, that's okay. Sometimes I'm a mess too. And sometimes your other friends are a mess too, and you don't judge them, you don't beat them up. And actually, literally, I've been doing this for the past few days. For the past few days, weeks. For the past few weeks, my room has been a mess, an absolute wreck. All of my clothes completely covering the floor, hanging out of my suitcases. And I've literally been telling friends, I'm a mess. I am such a wreck, But even just telling them that and hearing their response, hey, it's okay. You'll get it worked out. And the truth is, yeah, I will get it worked out. When I moved to New York, I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a mess. It was such a mess. Once I finally did get a job, it took me 2 months just to make enough money to pay my rent and pay those other people back. It's not always so clean, and that's okay. Don't let the desire for everything to be perfect to stop you from making the changes you want to make. Because the truth is, whatever comes up, you will get through. You will figure out, right? Like, I moved to New York. I was frantically running around the city trying to find a job, stressing about owing people money. And then it all worked out. I got a job. I made enough money. I paid everybody back. I paid my rent on time every month. You see, you're going to get through whatever challenges are presented to you. Don't let that stop you. Embrace the mess. Embrace the journey of progress. You won't know what you don't know until you go out there and find out. You know? Okay, in same situation when I moved from New York back here was I left New York in quite the rush, and I left all of my things in my old apartment, okay? And for 2 months, I just sat at home stressing about how I had to go back and get it and figure all of that out. And I finally went back. I got it done. It's out of the apartment. It's in this apartment. And everything is okay. I'm still breathing. All of my old roommates are still breathing. And I have all of my stupid little things that I wanted to get back. I guess what I'm saying is if I could go back even just 2 months and tell myself, all of this is going to work out. This weight will be lifted. Just relax. Just breathe. Because worrying about the present, putting that weight on what's going to happen, when am I going to get this done? When am I going to get this done? Doesn't actually aid in getting it done any faster. And I know that ceasing to worry is easier said than done, but be as present as you can be, and whatever messes come about as you're navigating this change you're trying to make, give yourself grace. Lend yourself some compassion, okay? You are a human being. Trudging through the mud is what we do. Okay, the last step in completely changing your life is to give yourself time. Give yourself time to adjust. As I was saying before, that making new or different choices will yield different consequences. You also have to give these consequences time. And you have to give yourself time to completely acclimate to the new change. A lot of times we live in the past, or we think we're living in the past in our minds. So when we're making new choices, we might still be living in the past version of ourselves, and we have to give ourselves time to catch up. Give ourselves time to realize, oh, everything really is different now. I can be present in this moment and feel what this moment really is telling me. Instead of being stuck in my past situations and my past experiences that really are gone, that really are not here anymore. But this requires you to give yourself a lot of grace. Really, to give yourself space to be stuck in the past. It is so natural for humans to get stuck in the past. And just let it happen. Why are we trying so hard to fight who we are? Let it happen. Notice that you're living in the past and say, come back. Hey, you, come back here. Let's notice what's happening right now, okay? I've been struggling with that a lot recently, of noticing myself being in the past and conjuring up feelings that I did or would have or would be experiencing if that were happening right now, but it's not. It's not happening. The only thing that's happening is happening right now. But when you make changes in your life, sometimes it can be difficult to recognize the new outcomes. That if you're stuck in the past and you're stuck in that mindset of, oh, nothing's really going to change, you might be living in that old version of yourself, blinded to the new version of yourself that is seeing those results. So again, I encourage you to give yourself grace, because you also might revert back to your old self. You might revert or backslide into your old habits, and that's okay. My intention for today was love progress. And progress isn't linear. Progress is something sort of like a mountain or climbing a mountain. Climbing a mountain isn't like a straight shot, you know? People make paths and they kind of twist and turn, and sometimes you have to climb up and other times you have to climb down, and eventually you make it to the top. But you didn't just have one straight line to get there, you know? If you have plants, think about when you're pruning a plant and you notice that a leaf looks like it's dead. So you go to pick it off, but it won't let go. You can't pick it off. It might look dead, but it's not. When it's completely dead, it will let go easily. It will let go all on its own, or with very, very little effort. And this is one of my favorite analogies for letting go in our own lives and accepting change. Because sometimes even when we know something is over, when something has run its course in our lives, we aren't ready to let go. We might know that it's over, but we're not willing or ready to let go. But there is always a point when you will, because there will be very little effort. You will do it so naturally. You won't have to try to move on. You won't have to try to let go. You just will when you're ready, just like the leaf. So when you're considering making changes in your life, ask yourself, are you really ready to change? Are you ready to change? And if you're not, it's okay. I'm telling you right now, I have known so many times when change has been required for me to move forward, and I was not ready. I wasn't willing. I couldn't commit. But eventually I did. I always come around to what I know. I always come around to what I know. But I do it when I'm ready. And so will you. Trust that, okay? Trust that. Okay, let's talk about it. How to completely change your life, okay? You need a mindset shift, okay? Stop victimizing yourself and step into your power. You are choosing everything in your life. Ask for help. Lean into your community. Lean into the people who are there for you. Okay, don't try to do this on your own. Trust in change. If you change, the outcome will change. Embrace the mess. Okay, things are going to get messy. Challenges are going to come up. Let them. Let them and embrace them. Okay, it will be so much easier on you this way. Take it from someone who struggles in the entrapment of the ropes that I've wrapped myself in over this kind of stuff. Okay? And the last one, give yourself time. Let yourself adjust to the changes you're making. This is what I came up with after reflecting on what all of my big life changes had in common, and I hope that they resonated with you. I hope that you can gain some sort of nugget of wisdom out of one of these and use it in your own life. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I am so glad that you were here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and I love you. Have a fabulous day. I've been Abby, and this has been Magic in the Moment. Bye.